Well, folks, how y'all doing today? Now, folks, the very fact is that I do most of these recordings not because I believe they're grand and great, and in the great scheme of things, there's some sort of humongous work. No, most of them are just kind of plain. But the point is that again, the left would rather we did not speak at all. The international money powers, who the left is using as a battering ram to beat down the majority whites in the West, would prefer that us majority whites do not speak out against this beating, that we do not object publicly, that we do not state, that we do not acquiesce, that we simply remain silent in the face of this outrage against our history, our homes, our heritage, our very persons. Okay? And then, of course, the left wants to control the narrative, where my speaking right now is some form of violence. But of course, when Antifa actually beats up old men and old women in the streets for voting for Donald Trump, well, that's just, those people voted for Donald Trump, don't you know? I mean, right? Now, folks, think what you like of my views, and there may not be to some of you GOPers' tastes, but I don't want to kick you down in the streets and put the boots to your head the way that Antifa does. I simply do not. I don't want to burn everything you've ever owned in a big bonfire of the vanities the way that Antifa does. Okay? And moreover, I don't want to steal every penny you've ever worked for the way that the money powers who are behind Antifa want to do. I don't want to steal your things. I don't want your money. So, I'm probably a more honest purveyor of information than the news or the Antifa people, or. And what I see is that all of you are going to be declared Nazis like they declared folks like me, as people who are the heretics of race, right? But you don't need to be a racist, quote unquote, to become one of us, according to them. I mean, do you believe in anything that's not Marx, anything that's not Lenin, anything that's not Kropotkin or other anarchist and communist beliefs? Then you are a Nazi to them. You are a fascist to them. Do you believe in law and order? Police and law and order and prisons are the very epitome of fascism to them. All of you are fascists and Nazis to them. They see you all as Himmler and Goebbels, and I'm not being even remotely I'm not making it more absurd than it is. These Antifa, these hardcore leftists, they don't view you as just regular old run-of-the-mill human beings. Okay? They view you as reactionary fascists who will and do cause violence against people of color, minorities, and the rest merely by your existence. Merely by having the right to speak and act the way you wish, you cause quote-unquote violence to these others, and that gives Antifa the mental justification to do whatever they must do against you. And the media are assisting them with this nonsense narrative that only the right and white supremacists, and of course by white supremacists they mean all of you who are white and don't support Antifa. If you're white and you don't support Antifa, you're a white supremacist. If you're white and you voted for Trump, if you're white and you voted for any party but the Hillary Clinton, even if you voted for Bernie, they probably will view you as a traitor and a fascist reactionary. Okay? All of you Democrats who voted for Trump, you're exactly that to them. They view you as Judas, and you are by default a reactionary, enabler of fascism, and you must be stopped. And that is their worldview. And that is why they can justify to themselves any amount of violence, any amount of destruction, any amount of burning, any amount of intimidation, theft, and blame it all on the people whom they commit these things against. And until you accept this, until you accept that you cannot compromise with such individuals, that you cannot compromise with their desired world revolution, and that's what they want. They want a world revolution, anarchist communist style, where everything is burnt to the ground, starting right with the family, the man-woman relationship, the child. They want procreation itself to be made into a bad, horrible, oppressive thing. Now, if there's any more effective way to kill a people than by killing procreation, I can't think of a way. These Antifa are death cultists. They are death cultists that want to kill procreation if they can. And everything up from there, the family, the community, anything like history, heritage, honor, whoosh, to the flames. Okay, folks? Now, unless you are okay with this kind of just torching to the ground of everything, religion, art, philosophy, ethics, architecture, mathematics, all of it is oppressive racism to these people. All of it is oppression. Aristotle and Plato are oppression because they require a higher IQ than many Antifa and the others. Anything that is complex or unique or beautiful is fascist because it's not plain and ugly and accessible to even the lowest IQ. Right. They hate beauty. They hate excellence. They hate virtue. Do you understand? They hate all of Western civilization at its very core. And they hate you if you don't hate all of these things with them. Now, folks, you cannot compromise with this kind of hate, much like a farmer can never compromise with a wolf. If the wolf is killing your sheep, you must kill the wolf to defend your flock. And if you don't think that that's the way it is, then you'll simply lose more and more of your flock. And if you attempt to compromise with Antifa, you'll lose more and more of your statues, more and more of your heritage, more and more of your pride, more and more and more and more will be stripped from you. And that's all of you. Everyone who voted for Trump, everyone who's not a far left fanatic. In time, they'll turn on all of us. And all of us will be stripped down to nothing. And they will break us. And then they will, on our bones and from our blood, make their new utopia that will fall into its own foundation because it's based on complete pie-in-the-sky, death's cultist insanity. Now, folks, if you'd like to be free of this death cultist insane nonsense, we must do two things as a people here in the Western world. Two things. We must break the bonds of usury over our economic activities, for it is these usurers who pay for the Antifa enemy to attempt to destroy us. And we must, two, drive out the horrible, disgusting values that have been taught that teach selfishness and individuality as some greatest goods, for they are but death by other means, and relearn that the common good is greater than any particular selfish interest at all. If these two things are done, then you will keep your homes, and you will keep your heritages, and then you will keep what is rightfully yours. It's that simple. And if not, everything will go into the grinder of these death cultists, and out the other end will come nothing but death. Everything. Me, you, everything you've ever cared about, all ground in nothing, all as if it never existed. And there is that, or there is the destruction of these usurers that pay for the grinding, and the driving out of the evil, horrible values as such that allow for people to be like Antifa, that justify their existence. For, frankly, I tell you that Antifa's destructive values are nothing but the individualism contained in modernity taken to its absolutist extremes. So, destroy the belief in this false idol of this individuality, and destroy the false idol of the golden calf of usury, and our people will be free, they will be strong, they'll be unified, and we will have what we need to go forward into life.